Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are. Welcome to another Star Trek Discovery review. I am your host, Cousin Cheeto, and of course, being joined with Admiral Zamway, my usual cohort in crime. And we are talking Discovery Episode 3, Season 3. So this episode started out with the reuniting of everybody with Michael, yada yada. Everybody, hugs and kisses. Zam, what did you think of this? Beginning. Oh wait, you know what? Before we move on, hold on. Before we move on, I'm being a bad host, and we wanted to take a quick second to talk about the passing of Sean Connery. It's a terrible loss. However, he was 90, so it's very terrible. You don't want to lose anyone you love. He was a great actor. He was, Zam would love. He's a British actor. Zam, tell us what Sean Connery meant to you.
Well, he's Scotland's favorite son, that's for sure, and British actor, very much loved in this country. First James Bond, and arguably first James Bond. Peter Sellers, David Niven might have something to say on that. With the original Casino Royale, but that's just me going on a tangent. Sean Connery has been in so many various types of movies. He's immersed himself in as not only as a great Hollywood actor, but a cult status actor as well. He's been in stuff like Highlander, the first one being very prominent, where he's actually playing a Spaniard, and Christopher Lambert, the Frenchman, is playing a Scottish person. How unusual is that? He's been in so many films that of various types. It's hard to remember all of them. He had those cameos in films like Time Bandits, and he had cameos in films like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He's been in so much stuff. He's dittoing everything. It's unfortunate that he decided to end his acting career after League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Now, I know you like that film, Bob. I personally didn't like it. I thought it was a pile of shit with lots of stupid shoehorns. And it's a shame he never did more stuff like that. He could have played Morpheus in Matrix. He didn't, but he couldn't understand the script. He could have played fucking Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, but he didn't. And I'm glad Ian McKellen did, because that actor is worthy of recognition as well. But yes, rest in peace, Sean Connery. You've had a long, amazing fucking career. You deserve to retire and be out of the limelight for a while. You don't have to work yourself to death like a lot of actors do. You will be missed. Rest in peace.
My experience with Sean Connery is, as you said, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which I didn't think it was a terrible movie, but I see the issues people had with it. The Rock and Indy 3.
Yeah, of course, Indy 3, of course. Sorry, you forget all of the obvious ones. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go on. Keep going.
Actually, I forgot about the cameo at the end of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which I love. I absolutely love that movie.
That's a great film, man. I don't care that he's got an American accent. I fucking love that film.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. And then his cameo at the end, and when you said that, I'm like, oh crap, you're right. He was in that one. And I was thinking Patrick Stewart, but that's isn't that Men in Tights?
Men in Tights.
So, but as I said, Sean Connery, he was never in Trek, but I think
never in Star Wars either.
Yeah, he kind of steered clear of the huge franchises. It seems like so. He
made a franchise. He was never the person to be part of established franchises. He would make a franchise.
And James Bond, obviously.
Of course,
that's a franchise.
Yeah, but a lot of people still think he's the greatest Bond of all time. Personally, I don't really like. I don't really like to say it like that, because there's some Bond films I can't fucking stand, and one of them is Thunderball, and Sean Connery's in that, and that film is fucking shit, and his performance in that film is also fucking shit. So to call him the greatest Bond of all time is arguable, as far as I'm concerned.
But great life, great career, great guy.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on. Sorry.
Yes, for sure.
All right, so Star Trek Discovery, Season 3, Episode 3. So as we start off with, of course, Burnham beaming aboard the Discovery, and we have all the warm welcome backs and hugs and kisses and cries, and you got Burnham looking over somebody's shoulder and seeing what's her face? Well, why can't I remember her name? Giorgio. There we go. I'm still working on the names. I tried really hard this week to remember the names.
Yeah, I've forgotten them already.
Giorgio was standing there, and Giorgio, of course, could tell that something was new about Michael, which we would all figure out. But it's been a year in this strange new time. So Zan, what did you think about the very beginning of this episode?
I like the way it was like, okay, I'm Michael Burnham now, and I've got to fucking change up my shit a little bit. It's amazing how fucking quick her hair grew in just a year, which was quite remarkable.
Maybe she used programmable matter to get it.
Yeah, maybe. But fucking hell, she looks amazing. You know what I mean? Her new look. I just can't keep my eyes off her now. She looks gorgeous, and I like the way that she was just accepting the fact that she might never see her friends again, and she's got a new life. And all of a sudden, beep 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 beep, shit, the wormhole's opening. Let's go fucking check it out. And then she meets everyone again, and for them, it's only been a day, but for her, it's been a year, and it was very emotional. And I like the reunion. It made sense. Even though those guys only saw her yesterday, it still made sense. Michael Burnham's a changed person as well. I'm totally fine with that. Personally, I don't see much change other than her appearance. I've always thought that she was a bit. Even the first couple of episodes, she went against orders. She's always had that part of her in her. So regarding this change in her having a rebellious streak, that's always been Michael Burnham. You know what I mean? So this new Michael Burnham is not new, as far as I'm concerned. If anything, what she has helped her live the way that she's had to live this past year. So I still think she's the same person personally.
I feel like it's more of her character arc coming full circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's more like she started here in season 1, and now she's kind of like here. Like and I agree with you. Like, the more I think about it, the more it's more of her character arc coming mostly full circle.
Yeah. In season 2, when it came to extracting the original Red Angel and trying to catch it, she put her life on the line, and she even got Spock to stop them from fucking stopping the machines. She went proper against orders, even putting guns up against the fucking Federation, and Starfleet. So this new Michael Burnham, I'm not buying it, but I'm liking the show nevertheless.
Okay, so now we get to the part that nearly brought me to just lose it for some reason. So we get to the bridge, and she's kind of standing there, and Saru is standing there, and she's seeing the bridge for the first time in a year and everything. Mm-hmm. And everybody, it's only been 5 minutes for everybody else. Well, it's only been an episode for everybody else, or for the crew, but for Burnham, it's been a year. And just right there in front of everybody, she just says, "Saru, it's always been you." Like there's no question. So now we have our Captain Saru, and I don't think there has ever been a more deserving captain. Well, Sisko, because he got captain in the rank of captain. But Saru, it's always been Saru since probably the middle of the first season.
And if there was any doubters, then the second episode of this season cemented the fact that he has to be captain. He's got the temperament and the mindset, and he's witty, and he sinks on his feet. All the elements. He's got the respect of his crew. He has to be fucking captain.
Yeah, if they would have made Michael Burnham captain, I would have been so mad. I would have been incredibly mad.
It made no sense, but I liked that got dealt with very quickly, and now we're going to Earth.
Yeah. So what they do is they Book comes on board and meets Giorgio, and they have their little banter, and I love it. And here's the thing that I love also about this episode is that Giorgio just assumes that and as probably all of us did, well, most of us did, that Burnham and Book were kind of doing the hot and nasty this past year, just because, well, they're a male and a female in proximity, and it's been a year. But in all actuality, Book's like, nah, we're just friends. Like,
I found that we're just friends a little bit hard to believe. I wasn't I mean, come on, they're both fucking gorgeous, and they've been in close proximity with each other forever. Yeah, so like the fact they're just friends. Yeah, I understand why they were just friends by the end of the episode. It made sense because obviously, Book fucked off somewhere else, but they wanted their departure not to be too weepy.
But I mean, he never did. I don't know if he ever said. He said they. I don't think
I think he was about to say. I think he was about to say we never even shagged or something along those lines.
Oh,
but
maybe
he never. Okay. He was about to say something along those lines just to.
And he's just like, you know what? No.
Yeah, I'm not. Fuck it. I'm not going to. I have to say, you know, I've been watching other reviews regarding Giorgio, and there is something that makes a lot of sense. That this woman was like the emperor of the fucking world at one point, and now she's resigned to fucking taking orders from something she used to eat. And I really hope at some point that Giorgio backstabs Enterprise so she remains the sort of person that she's supposed to be.
Discovery.
Discovery. I mean, yeah, he remains the person. It remains the person she's supposed to be, because this woman is not a nice person. And the fact that she's so willing to let things go and bend over for certain people and actually be so part of the crew is a bit weird if you think about it, considering who she was.
And that's why I'm kind of thinking she's biding her time. She's playing the Starfleet until it suits her, and then I honestly think she's going to go off on her own. Like, I mean, I think she's going to join Raiders, or she's going to form her own coalition. Like, this is a whole new time. Like, I'm pretty sure Giorgio will eventually leave.
Do you think she'll stab Discovery in the back?
I think she will. I don't think she'll stab them in the back. I think she'll just be like...
leave them in the lurch.
Yeah, leave them in the lurch, but it'll be an opportunity for her to get away. And then Discovery will obviously figure out a way out of whatever they're in, but they're going to count on Giorgio, and then she's just going to bolt. Like, she'll be like, thank you for putting your trust in me, but I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, they'll give her a shuttle or a ship, and they have to use the shuttle in order to pull Discovery out of the crystalline entity's butthole or something like that. And then, she's just going to go, and she's, if you make it out, I have no hard feelings, but I'm going to go and do what I want to do now. So
we'll see how
I see that happening by the end of the season.
I hope something like that does happen, because I'm not liking the direction she's going a little bit. She's being a bit too much of a team player. And like I said, she's the boss.
Teasing a redemption arc is what they're doing.
Yeah, but she's already kind of redeemed herself if that's the case.
No. I understand that. That's why I'm saying I don't know if I don't like the way it's going. Like, I think that she either needs to go back to her old ways, and now that they're in a new time, she needs to go do her own thing. And her show up as like a guest appearance every now and then when like even with these Titan, we'll get into this later in the episode, but even with these Raiders that came in this episode, like I think she needs to go off and find a group that's struggling, pull them together, and then they become her new empire. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, I don't. That's going to have to have something like that's going to have to happen off screen, and that might not have to. That might be like at least 2 seasons down the line for her to be given the time to establish something like that.
Yeah,
and then
we'll see. I think by the end of the season,
and then what's she fighting for? What's she fighting against? What is she trying to regain control of the universe, like she tried to back in her own dimension? It's a bit weird with Giorgio, and in a way, it wouldn't be too bad if they killed her off at some point, But because honestly, I just don't want her to be a timid. I don't want this person who's this badass person to be just basically the enforcer of Discovery. Yeah. And I don't want it to go down that route.
It's not gonna in the beginning of this season. I think it fits because they need that. But as they establish more and more the new Federation, I think that's going to conflict more with everything. Yeah. Either that or she's going to start her own Section 31, like in that time. And she, as I said, she's just going to kind of go off and do her own thing. And she's going to be like, well, look, I'll have the best interest of the Federation at heart, but I'm going to go do it my way. And you guys don't have to worry about it because I'm going to do it on my own. Well,
let's just hope we get something like that with her eventually. I mean, it's understandable at the moment that she's being a bit of a team player. She's like being thrusted not only is she in a different dimension, she's been also thrusted into the future as well. So she probably has to like bide her time a little bit before she can strike, I guess.
Oh yeah, and there'll come a time where she gets the opportunity. All right, so I kind of got off track here. I mean, it was a good talk.
Basically, the sport we find out, so I want to keep talking on here, but not about Georgia, but now we're going on to Spore Drive because
the Spore Drive of it all.
So Stannis is now basically he's not going to be affected by using the Spore Drive. He's just basically just there as part of the computer, part of the equipment of the ship, just so they can travel really quickly, I guess.
Well, and I think and I'm kind of glad they've moved past that. I don't like the Spore Drive, but I feel like it's okay here because
now and again to use.
Yeah, now and again to use. I mean, especially since there's no warp there's not much warp drive that you can do right now because dilithium is so, rare. But I mean, I never liked the Spore Drive in original Discovery, like the first 2 seasons, because it's like no one ever mentioned it. And I get, and that's the problem of doing a prequel with something new like the Spore Drive. Nobody ever mentions it. Nobody ever uses it. Nobody does anything.
And now the Discovery being sent into the future, it makes sense.
Yeah, now it makes sense because it's like, well, yeah, of course no one's ever, and now they can use it because it's like, well, no one's ever seen it before. But the thing is
there'd be records of it, outside of Discovery, surely.
Yeah. So I mean, so I think it makes sense now. As I kind of wish that they would have saved the Spore Drive for like this season, because then it's something they could have discovered in the future. We wouldn't have to worry about them ever mentioning it in the past. That's the great thing about being in the future, is that we don't have to worry because everything from here on is, there's nothing to interfere with in the alpha canon. You know what I mean? Like past Picard.
I guess. I mean, but now it's kind of been a bit established. I like the fact that equalizer for them, like it's their special tech in the world of a Mad Max universe where they have no fuel to get around where they need to, and they're basically killing each other for it. I like that equalizer that they have. It's like it's their wild card, and it will hold them steady, in this unknown universe they're in now.
Yeah. Okay. So they Spore Drived. They Spore Drived outside of Earth's defenses, which was right around Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense for the next part because what they do is they impulse to Earth. They get greeted by something new, which is now the Earth Defense Force. It's not the Federation. It's not. I mean, it is a Earth-based, Earth-focused force, and I love this because and it makes sense the way they explain it, because after the burn and everybody was coming for Earth. Like the Federation was there, Starfleet Command was there. Like it's the home planet of the Federation. Hi Raker. Everyone was coming for Earth for their resources because Earth was an epicenter of just commerce and resources. And so you can figure if the Federation ships were almost all destroyed, besides defenses, eventually Earth's defenses would be worn down.
So yeah, you can understand them basically locking themselves out from the rest of the world, or the rest of the universe.
And it was very reminiscent of Babylon 5, the way Earth was ran.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot. I haven't, like I said, I've never watched Babylon 5, but my God, have I been hearing a lot of references regarding the similarities.
Mm-hmm.
And Andromeda as well, apparently, there's similarities.
I haven't watched Andromeda, but yeah, no, my first thought when I saw a lot of this, I'm like, oh God, this is like Earth in Babylon 5. Like, very, not isolationist, but they were a little more, they weren't defensive. Very Federation-y. Yeah, they're a little more offensive instead of pacifists.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because they've been fucked with so many times, you can't blame them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was nice to see. Actually, this was very interesting as well because when they approached Earth, they already planned that they were already. Saru mentioned the fact that they were like descendants of the previous
crewmates.
of the previous crew, yeah, and stuff like that. And that was already established that they were going to do that anyway. They mentioned that earlier. Michael mentioned that to Saru earlier, that they should do something along those lines. Unusual lie. I'm not sure if that's going to bite them in the ass when it comes to having some trust with the Earth Alliance. But all of the majority of the fucking of that ship are full of humans, and they belong on that fucking planet, regardless of the time. So it was an interesting seeing Earth the way it was and how it's going to reflect on this issue. And I love the way they just immediately beamed on the fucking ship, not bullshitting around, not fucking around.
Yeah.
And I like that.
They were just like, yeah, they were just in there. Like, they're just like, no, we're going to inspect now. And they're like, what?
And you see how quick the teleportation was. It was like immediate. It was like fucking, Q jumping around. Just immediate. It wasn't like, it was like that. They teleported immediately in there. They materialized really quickly. That's how good the fucking teleportation is in the future, and I like that. And unfortunately, their suits look very similar to Discovery suits, so it was hard to tell who was who at times. But we got to meet a new character, and I forgot her name already.
Let's just call her Ezri for right now, because that's who she reminds me of.
Yeah, fair enough.
We were introduced to a new character. She has a nice twist at the end of the show. She's obviously, while they're perusing around engineering, is engineering, right? Where the spore drive.
They're in engineering, yeah, and
I always forget. Yeah. I always think it's a lab or something. But
she's a child as well. She's fucking 16.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I'm not surprised that everyone's is a super brain in that part at that time. I mean, pretty much you're learning quantum physics at 5 years old. So.
Yeah, I was kind of the same way. I'm kind of like, I was like, all right, well, she's probably just some like child genius, like Doogie Howser or something. This is the Doogie Howser for the new Trek, I guess.
No, but even if you're not a child genius, Wesley Crusher was looked upon as a child genius. But then you remember, the first day at school, they're like studying Zephyr and Cofrin, and shit like that. I mean, you gotta be it's just being smart. It just comes with that timeline, I guess.
Yeah. So they're inspecting, and she obviously has some insight into a lot of the tech that she has seen, because we'll get into that later. But the commanding inspector there was, putting the little probes around, and Stamets is getting irritated because they're like,
sorry, no. I apologize. I think my food's here. Just give me 1 minute and I'll be back. Sorry about that.
It's okay. So I'll keep going. So they get through the inspection. They gather up their little probe thingies and they move on, and so obviously something happens while this is going on, and they're doing all this. Tilly and Stamets are talking about weird child that's like 16 who has all of this knowledge of all of this tech, and then so they keep on the inspection, and as they start to talk, I believe this is when the Raiders start to show up and everything. And I'll wait for Zam to get hooked back up. I muted you, bud. I muted you. Unmute yourself.
Okay, where were we?
I was talking about they were wrapping up the inspection, and then isn't that when the Raiders show up? After? Yeah.
I watched this show twice now. I watched it second time today.
I've only been able to watch it once because I had to watch Mando last night.
When you watch it the second time, new girl, you can tell that she was tampering. And the moment they're asking what she's doing, she immediately reacted and acting a little bit defensive. And you understand that a second time now when you realize she was tampering with shit.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm a bit disappointed that Stannis, the engineer. Stamets, yeah. He didn't immediately report New Girl as being the saboteur, maybe part of the pirate crew. I'm surprised that didn't happen. I was really disappointed in that because, for fuck's sake, you should be defending your ship. That's the first thing you should be doing. And I'm surprised he didn't. But anyway, I mean, they just got blasted to fucking high heaven by some massive bolt of blastness from the future, from some future tech. Fucking report this girl in. So yeah, I found that a bit weird.
So the Raiders show up and they're, they're all at Red Alert. They're all talking, no, we're going, Saru's doing Starfleet, which is, we're going to talk to them. Earth Defense Force is like, no, we're going to blow them up. We've dealt with them before. You guys are stupid. So, these guys are all going back and forth about, all this garbage. And
we have a moment. Sorry for interjecting, but
I'm actually a little hazy on.
Yeah, we have a moment.
So you go ahead.
In between all of that, we have that moment between Michael and Book, where Book has to dress up as a Starfleet officer.
Yeah. Yep.
And there was a real moment when she's zipping up the jacket and stuff. It's like, yeah, you look good in this, my son, and and he does. I can imagine him being a part of the crew and stuff like that.
I just hate those uniforms. They need new uniforms. I hate them.
They're not going to change them anytime soon, are they? If you think about it.
Because now they're not going to get the original series costumes or uniforms. So
exactly. I mean, but nevertheless, there's something they could always say, "Oh, these are supposed to be our new uniforms for this particular period," but let's just replicate them now. And they could say something like that, and easily interject the fact that they've got new uniforms. But anyway, I'm sidetracking. But yeah, those guys come up with a plan, don't they, to stop all this shit?
Yeah, because their dilithium, all the dilithium is in Book's ship, which is cloaked and they can't scan it. So yeah, and so when they're having this face off between the Raiders and Earth Defense Force and Discovery, they Book and Michael take Book's ship and they fly out and they say, give us your we'll give you the dilithium if you I can't remember what the terms were, but basically, if you let Discovery go, we'll give you the dilithium. And so what it is I like this little exchange between Michael and Book, because it's like you can tell they've been doing this for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, do you remember? Like, and
they're hustlers.
Huh?
They're hustlers, man.
Yeah, but it wasn't like in Star Wars, because I thought immediately of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith when Obi-Wan and Anakin were talking, oh, remember that time I got you out? Or maybe it was Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, they had a little moment like that as well.
Yeah. but that one felt very shoehorned, whereas this one felt very natural.
Yeah, okay.
Like I'm
not sure, because it immediately reminded me of Attack of the Clones, so I don't know how I thought of it naturally, if you know what I mean, it made me think of something else.
Yeah. But so then they pull off their little plan. I'm guessing the Raider lowers their shields to beam it, and then they just beam the Raider leader over to their ship.
Quick. We never saw how they did all that shit. I'm glad we didn't, but we don't need to be convoluted with all that.
Well, because I think Discovery took 2 torpedoes, knocked because Discovery moved.
Yeah, he blocked them.
Yeah, Discovery moved in the way of and they were quantum torpedoes, I believe, which is weird because you figure in 800 years. Well, since next gen time, it'd be like 600 years. You figure in 600 years that there would be an advancement past quantum torpedoes, but whatever, that's fine. So anyway, they pull off their little hustle. They get the leader beamed on their ship. They cloak. They go back into the docking bay, or at least they cloak and then they beam over to Discovery or whatever.
They got transporters. They can beam wherever the fuck they want.
Yeah. So then they take them into the conference room, and actually Giorgio's there. Saru, Giorgio, and then Earth Defense Force leader and the Raider guy.
Interject here. I like I'm glad you mentioned Giorgio, because she was the one who stopped Saru from being a stupid captain for a brief second, because as good as a captain he is, he almost thought that Michael betrayed him. And Giorgio had to remind him, no, look, this is the plan. This is why she said nothing to you. You have to assume that we're all on the same side here still. And I like that. It was a clever moment, and it was character development as well, because next time a scenario like this happens, Saru will have faith in Michael that she'll get the job done, even if there's no communication between them.
Yeah. Well, and we even saw that when Michael and Book were on the bridge. She said, Book's like, it's like, how do you know he's going to do this? And she's like, he has to. He's Starfleet. He'll do.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah.
And I mean, and that's why I think it's okay for Michael to be first officer, because it will I think those two, like in that role, I think they will complement each other. Saru being captain and Michael being first officer. I just feel like Michael's not I mean, she's not going to be the best first officer, but I feel like that's going to be in this new time. This is not Starfleet. This is not Federation time. This is a new time. This is like, you know, a different kind. And I think Saru's going to need that in a first officer. Somebody who's like, look, you know, she knows Starfleet and she knows they won't fire first, but she also knows that she needs to have a backup plan if the Federation way does not work.
I agree.
So anyway, so Giorgio, or, you know, they start talking, and, you know, and Burnham does do the Starfleet thing or the Federation thing. She's like, now you two need to talk, you know, like between the Earth Defense Force and them. And then Giorgio takes the mask off of one of them, and it turns out, oh, they're human. Huh. And they're from Titan, Saturn's moon.
Yeah, Saturn's moon. I like the way, I like that a lot, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking brilliant. It also made sense why they knew the fucking Starfleet, the shuttle, why the Discovery was there in the first, but the fucking Discovery flew right past their base. Mm-hmm. No, sorry, emerged at their place. So yeah, it was brilliant. I love that. It's brilliant. You know.
Yeah, and I really like it too, because and I'm sure you've heard lots of comparisons to Babylon 5, but in Babylon 5 they did that with there was a lot of tension between Earth and Mars. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, I'm glad they didn't go the Mars route. I'm glad they went with Titan, because, you know, it makes it a bit different.
I like that, because our solar system alone has got tons of fucking moons, and moons are basically planets as well. So I'm glad that with
terraforming technology, there's got to be. Yeah. I mean, even if they're not like green grass and sunny skies, with the habitats and the technology they had, at least in the 24th century. You know, or even 100 years before, when the burn happened, or 100, 200 years when the burn happened. I mean, there had to have been tons of colonies around dozens of moons in the solar system. So, exactly. I mean, but yeah, Titan would be one of the bigger ones, because I think Titan is a colonizable, is a terraformable world.
But it also shows that Earth is so isolated that he doesn't give a fuck about his own solar system. It's just solely Earth and probably their moon, and that's about it. You know, and so they didn't even know about all of that shit going on with Titan and those humans there. It shows you how isolated they are, and it's fascinating to see where it goes from here.
I like this. As I said, I mean, I like this move because it makes sense. It makes complete sense that when Earth becomes a target, after the burn and the Federation falls, and, you know, and Starfleet leaves, like I believe that's what they said. Starfleet left,
yeah, which is weird.
So
how do you fucking leave? Like, what? You pick up your office supplies and fuck off? I mean, what? Weird. No remnants at all, not whatsoever, not one.
Well, there are remnants. I mean, we've seen the remnants, but I mean, it's like they're gone. They're gone.
Starfleet is Earth, man. What the fuck? The Federation is all the other planets, but Starfleet's fucking Earth.
Well, I think they said that the Federation capital was moved off Earth.
I'm just saying that when you look at Starfleet vessels, nearly every ship, majority of the fucking crew, humans. Starfleet has always been Earth. I find that weird.
I think towards this Voyager, I think they did a good job at kind of, you know, adding a little bit more, like races.
Still majority, yeah. Nevertheless,
yeah. I mean, still the majority. You're right, but
you know, B'Elanna Torres was fucking half human. You know, I mean, as much as they put a Klingon there, she was only half a Klingon.
Okay, so at this point, so they're talking, they're working things out, they're trading technology for supplies, I believe. You know, and it looks like Earth is going to help Titan, and hopefully this kind of starts the healing process.
I love that.
I do too.
I love all of that, because it really hit me in the fucking feels.
Yeah, Bob. It was track.
It hit me in the fucking feels that, you know, immediately, like, you know, Saru's like the teacher, and these are the two naughty fucking students, and, you know, we're going to sort this fucking out now. You know what I mean? We're going to sort this out. You know, Starfleet the fuck out of that. I loved it, man. And it was great, and it was resolved. It was so resolved, and they ended up being allies. You know,
well, that's what I'm hoping we'll see. I'm hoping we'll see Earth maybe reach out to, and as I said, this is the rebirth that we are watching, the rebirth of the Federation, and it's gonna be little bits at a time. Like I mean, if this is all done in one season, Like if the Federation starts to reform in one season, I'm going to be a little upset.
But it already, like, Discovery in 2 episodes has left a massive mark on the fucking universe. Yeah, it has what it did in that fucking cowboy bar in episode 2, and the results from that has obviously it will be echoed, and now this sort of treaty between Earth and Titan as well. And if they keep doing that, which is what Star Trek's all about, really, about resolving conflict. Well, not completely, but has been in the various shows, resolving conflicts between two factors. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy with, that's so Star Trek, and discovering new worlds as well, and all of that, and meeting new civilizations and coming to terms with all of these sort of things. Yeah, I'm loving everything about it.
Well, and here's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, I hate to say it, but like the whole discovering new worlds thing, it's almost been done to death. I mean, it kind of has. And
I agree.
What else is there? What else new and original is there to discover?
No, but it's a bit different now, because there are in the future, so a lot of things have changed.
Well, and that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, let me finish. So, I mean, but what we have here now is instead of exploring strange new worlds, they're rediscovering these old, these old worlds. I mean, that would be a great tagline for this season. Rediscovering these old worlds, rediscovering new, how civilizations have changed. It's not like, oh, here's this new race with ridges on their shoulders. This is why they're different. Like, no, it's like in the first episode they came across Orions and Andorians working together, and and Michael's like, what is happening?
You saw Cardassians at the beginning of this episode when she's doing all her courier work, when she's just doing a brief narration of her life.
I want to see what happened to like the Vulcans, and and who knows, did some of these races been killed off? Like, what happens if they stop by Beta Z, and like all the Beta Zs have been wiped out, or
the Romulans will be interesting. Vulcans and Romulans, it will be very interesting to see what's happening with them.
I mean, who knows? Maybe after the Federation fell, and maybe after, a couple hundred years have passed, maybe the Romulan Star Empire got itself back up, and maybe Vulcan kind of joined with the Romulans rather than the Romulans joining back with you know what I mean? Like, originally it was portrayed as the Romulans wanted to reunify with the Vulcans, but maybe now with the burn, it's vice versa. Maybe it's like, maybe the Vulcans need the Romulans to help them, and now the Vulcans and the Romulans are now more two sides of the same coin. Because there are significant, besides looks, there are significant differences between Romulan, like culture.
Yeah, Romulans are emotional, man. For fuck's sake, they're emotional motherfuckers.
So that'll be interesting to see what's happened with the Vulcans and the. But I'm
are they as strong as Vulcans? I've never really seen. I've seen Romulans getting the shit beaten out of them and being quite evenly matched with humans. So I'm not sure if they're necessarily as strong as Vulcans. Are they?
I don't ever remember a case where, I guess no, it is, because remember in the Kelvin movie in 2009, Nero was pretty strong, and so were the Romulans under him.
Yeah. He was fucking strong, actually. I remember, yeah.
So technically they are. Every race is stronger than human. I want them to come across a race that's weaker than humans.
They've done that. Remember that woman? Yeah, they've done. Well, not in Discovery, but there was that race which has hardly any gravity. So
on DS9, but that's because I guess because she came from a planet that had less gravity. So that makes sense.
You got the junkies as well and stuff like that. Remember that episode on TNG, the junkie episode, where this planet thought they needed medicine, but really it was a drug. Which kept them hooked. Yeah, and stuff like that.
But okay, so I'm sorry, we got off track a little bit. So, but but this is good. This is what we want from this is what I want from Discovery this season.
They finally got the balance right though. They're merging an overarching narrative. They're merging like the way storytelling's done nowadays with classic Star Trek. Because honestly, this Klingon War idea and shit like that, this is not what people fucking wanted. They want people. This is not what people wanted.
I agree with you. I agree with you. That's not what people wanted.
This is not the Star Trek people recognize. You've got to keep it. These guys are like the A-team of space. They solve problems. And if they get themselves into a problem, they get themselves out of a problem. you know, and try to do it as ethically as well, as possible too. Like the episode of Voyager where they were stuck in that giant space monster, which hallucinates you and shit like that. And the only people who realized it was a space monster was Seven of Nine and that little girl with the horns and fucking and the doctor, and the doctor, because they themselves wasn't chasing anything. They weren't, as much as the Voyager crew. But you know what I'm saying? Like they tried to get out of their problems ethically. They could have killed the monster. I thought killing the monster was a good idea until fucking the doctor brought me to my senses and told me we can't be killing this species. It's just doing what it does. It's not an evil sentient being. It's just being what it is. We can't kill it. And I like that. I fucking like that a lot. It was really smart. And so I want them to be resolving problems, getting out of their own problems, stuff like that. That's what that's what Star Trek's all about, and more of that. I love it. I just hope this is the first time, Bob, I am looking forward to the next episode. I mean, I was looking forward to the next episode from the beginning of season 3, but this is the first time in Discovery, just generally, I'm really excited about the show. Like the first couple of seasons felt like a chore. It really did. As I
said, the only part of the first 2 seasons I actually enjoyed and I love, and I couldn't wait to watch the next episode, was the spoilers for season 1. If you haven't seen it, which if you haven't, why are you watching this? Was the Mirror Universe episodes. I really enjoyed the Mirror Universe episodes, but other than that, like you're right. I mean, like I haven't been like I want to watch the next episode now.
That episode with Harry Mudd where they just kept reliving the last 53 minutes or whatever. Remember that one? And that was a great fucking episode. That was Star Trek in a nutshell. They need more scenarios like that.
Was that season 1 or 2?
That was season 1. Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because Lorca was in it.
Yeah. That was a great fucking episode, man. And they need more shit like that, in their Star Trek. But stuff like that. I mean, that is Star Trek in a nutshell. These sort of scenarios. I love all that shit, man. Bring it back. Oh, we need more of that. Not this bullshit, about fucking Klingons. And now they got to somehow figure out why Klingons have got ridges again between the last 10 years of that and fucking. That's why the Klingon thing was like, you just leave the Klingons completely out of it, because if you reinvent the Klingons, then you better have a darn good reason, and no reason is ever good enough, and they're not going to make them look like the original series Klingons, because I mean, unless Kelvin Universe, if they Kelvin Universe, it would have been fine. Honestly, if this was Kelvin Universe, I would have no problems with it at all. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Regarding the ridges and stuff, I still wouldn't want a Klingon storyline for sure. Yeah, but I have no problem with it. But the fact that it isn't, I have a problem with it. Because now there's no continuity. Star Trek's all over the fucking place. So, but as long as the episodes are good right now, I'll take that. And right now, we're getting some fantastic Star Trek quality episodes done in a modern way, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Bravo to the writers. They got it right finally. Took them a couple of seasons, but they got it right. Yeah.
Okay, so we're wrapping up towards the end of the episode. They get resolution. Titan and Earth are talking again. Michael and Book kind of say their goodbyes, which I know he's not gone for the season. He might be gone for an episode or 2, but he's coming back. He is.
Well, this is why they weren't banging each other in the first place, so he can fuck off without it being too much of a weepy goodbye. What I mean? An emotional goodbye. Personally, the fact that these two are not banging each other, I just find it very hard to believe. I mean, how the hell could they not be attracted to each other in close quarters like that, doing what they do and having these common interests? And no. I'm just not buying that at all. But nevertheless.
And then so Book leaves, and then we get the reveal that and you know what? Let's go back just a little bit. We got the whole Stamets talking to the.
Oh yes, we missed the Trill girl. We forgot about her. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that.
So I mean, I kind of like this part. I know you probably. I don't think you were fond of it, but I kind of like where Stamets was just sitting there, kind of being Stamets to this, this Trill girl, because he knows something is up. Like he's like, there is no possible way that you're 16 years old. And as brilliant as you seem to be, you have knowledge of hundreds of years old tech. Like, but it seems like you know more of the inner
Yeah,
workings
but
and
he's
you're
not a
letting on.
sleuth, is he? He's an engineer. He's not a fucking sleuth. Yeah, so
No, that's
for
what I'm
him
saying.
to,
He didn't
so
figure it
for him,
out, but he knew
yeah,
something was up.
yeah, but for him to not immediately assume that she's part of the fucking sabotage of the pirates raiding their ship, that would make sense at that particular time. Not him, you know, for someone like Stamets as well, you know, who you just don't think would be that much of a sleuth and that calm in the head to necessarily deduct this sort of idea, you know, that she may be a third party in all of this. I'm very surprised. I never thought she was. I thought she was part of them until she revealed herself.
Yeah. So okay, so you know the person we didn't see at all, period, in this episode that I recall
We saw
was
two people actually.
two. Okay.
Two.
The first one was the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
which was Stamets's partner, which I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I don't even think we even saw him in this episode.
He would theoretically he would be in the medical bay, and we never once went to the medical bay, which is why we didn't see him, which is fair enough.
Who's the second
fair
one?
enough. The second one's the other engineer, the female engineer with the short hair.
We didn't see her, did we?
Yeah, I forgot her name.
I don't remember her name. Yeah, she's another one. I got Tilly. I got Stamets. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I tried to remember the con.
We already remember Booker already. And by the way, his name is Booker. We were making jokes about calling him Booker T and shit like that.
Let's say we're wrestling fans. If you name everybody after wrestling things, like we'll remember it all day.
And his name is actually Booker. You know, Book is abbreviation for Booker. So yes, Booker T, bring it on. And hopefully we'll see him at least 5 times in this fucking season.
Well, what? We're at 2 episodes so far. So
yeah.
All right. So and then that kind of leads into the end of the episode with them, you know, the Trill girl wanting to, and they don't know this at this point, but the Trill girl wanting to be transferred to Discovery. I thought it was a little weird that an Earth Defense Force was letting her just transfer willy-nilly.
I don't, because they're fucking. It's an Earth ship, and they, you know, it makes kind of sense. They've resolved this issue. I believe they can trust the majority of the people there are human beings. You know, I don't at all. You know, and this is like part of the diplomacy angle of it all as well. I'm fine with this.
Okay. I mean, I thought for me it was a little weird because I'm like, okay, I get it that we're all friends and hunky dory, but just letting one of your best officers transfer like that, like to a ship that is not an Earth Defense Force thing, that's kind of where I was like, okay. I mean, I'm okay with it, but it doesn't make much sense to me, at least. So she transfers over, and then she reveals to, I think was it Michael or Saru, that she was
she reveals to Saru. She reveals to Saru because
she's a Trill, but she's a human.
No. She reveals to somebody else, and then Saru brings it back to.
Oh, is it Stamets?
Yeah, I think she reveals to Stamets. Yeah, and then I think next week we cut to Saru and Michael talking about it. So obviously Stamets reported it back.
Yeah. So I mean, that's interesting. I like that. I like the fact that she's a Trill and she's got 700-800 years of. I mean, I feel like
16-year-old girl with all that shit inside her, man.
Yeah. Well, but she also has a hard time because she's human. She has a hard time tapping into it. So this
she can't access the memory because she's not a Trill herself.
Yeah, it's kind of like more of an instinctual thing. It seems like she has all these instincts. Like, oh, I recognize that. I can't play. Like, she's not as connected with the symbiote as a Trill would be, but I kind of find it interesting. And we were joking around before we started about her being like a better Ezri Dax.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Because I mean, here's the thing with Ezri is that I didn't like her all that much, and it's not because I like Jadzia better. I did like Jadzia better, but it's not just because of that. It was the fact that Ezri acted more like a child, like, and I get it. She got the Trill and she wasn't trained, the symbiote, and she wasn't trained and everything like that. But I mean, I feel like them actually giving the symbiote to a child is a better version of the Ezri Dax situation, because it's the exact situation. It happened off screen. Because when Jadzia died, they were on their way to Trill. And then there's only one Trill on board on the medical ship that they could give the symbiote to.
Yeah, and just to make it clear, this person we're talking about is the person whose previous host sent the message which Michael Burnham received The last Starfleet message or something to do regarding Starfleet.
Just like I think it was just a general call. Like,
yeah,
if there's anyone out there, like,
And so because this person was a Trill, I believe, who sent this message. His symbiont was then obviously passed on to this girl, so he could keep himself going. Because this girl now, this girl theoretically is really all they have of Starfleet at the moment.
Yeah, well, the history of Starfleet,
and she can't even access the fucking memories of it, which is kind of amazing.
But if you think about the technology, there's got to be records somewhere of what happened, even if they need to piece it together. There's got to be record. I mean, technology, even when the burn happened, there's got to be like intergalactic backup somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a data hub somewhere that has all this information.
I just want to quickly get this out, but before I forget it. But I'm a bit concerned about how Starfleet's going to be now. Like, are there going to be this myth in space? You know what I mean? Oh, Starfleet, they'll come and save us and shit like that. Well, and you hear all these stories amongst people about Starfleet and some of the good they've done around the universe and shit like that.
Well, but here's the thing. There's two separate things we're talking about here: the Federation and Starfleet. So I mean, it's kind of hard because I think
even that is being blurred. Those lines at times have been blurred poorly by some of the writers.
I agree.
Who've made,
because sometimes they say Starfleet and sometimes they say Federation.
In the Kelvin universe, Pike mentioned the Federation when he should be mentioning it as Starfleet. Because the Federation are all these different fucking planets and shit like that who are not part of Starfleet.
But Starfleet is mostly, I mean, technically, isn't Starfleet? Well, no, Starfleet's Federation's Navy, per se. Like, space Navy.
Yeah. I mean, for instance, like, maybe like the Klingons are part of the Federation for argument's sake. Yeah. But they're nothing like the Klingons, are they? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. But then if they have an issue with with customs and stuff between Federation and between with Starfleet protocol and stuff like that, that's a Federation issue.
Yeah.
Like between interspecies. I mean, that's why people have to join Starfleet, because they have to want to be they don't have no one has to be a part of Starfleet. I mean, you could go and join the Klingon Defense Force.
I just want to go too much of a tangent here, but just regarding the name of Starfleet or Discovery itself, just being thrown out there in the far corners of space, with all these stories and people pass around about these do-gooders doing shit like that. Is it going to be like that? Maybe it'd be like kind of Star Wars-y then in that sense, and I'm not saying a bit concerned. I'm just not sure if that's maybe the right way to go. But I'll be honest with you, this Star Trek, even though it's really been good, there are times where it feels very Star Wars. Very fucking Star Wars.
But I feel like that's appropriate for where they're at, like the time frame they're at. I mean,
and I feel they're doing Star Wars better than Star Wars is doing it.
Wow. I think you might have triggered some people. But I don't disagree.
Mandalorian aside, which is a whole different
Mandalorian aside.
Yeah.
But, okay. So at the end of the episode, they're going out there. It'll be interesting to see if people get wind of the spore drive. It'll be interesting to see what happens when people hear about. I mean, if people hear about how much dilithium they have, because
that for sure, they're gonna have fucking people on their asses.
I'm keep in mind,
some of the people at Titan might try to stab them in the back. I was
about to say, and the people of Titan, like, just because they worked out a deal doesn't mean there's not going to be somebody saying, has a cousin in the Orion Syndicate or the Andorian Orion Syndicate or whatever you want to call it now.
There's still bad blood there, yeah. Just because they shook hands doesn't mean everyone's on board. I mean, diplomacy is a long thing, but at least the first piece of tone, yeah. And
Discovery's an 800-year-old ship, like, technology-wise. Like, they're gonna have to upgrade. Like, I really hope in the next episode they say, well, Earth gave us some specs for some new tech. If we can find Earth seems pretty prosperous. So it's like maybe they gave them some new shield tech, maybe they gave them some new weapons tech to defend themselves. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping they get a little bit of an upgrade, like maybe not change the ship completely, but at least give them some new like shield and weapons tech so that they can defend themselves and whatever. Just because Discovery's going to get raffle stomped the first people they come across because.
And I'm sure Earth, and personally, I think the Earth would want to help this ship out as much as possible because it's the closest thing they got to some sort of representation
Yeah, but not
No.
everybody on Earth is going to, I mean, it's been 200 years or 150 years or whatever. I mean, xenophobia is going to be running rampant. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
because they're going to see Saru as the captain of this vessel, and they're going to be like, now, wait a minute.
At least all of Earth is together, you know?
Yeah, right? But I mean, but that brings us to the last part of this episode that is where they beam down to where Starfleet Academy used to be, and that willow tree is there, and, you know, they're hugging it, and, you know, I don't know.
That blonde chick is new, isn't it?
I thought so. I think she showed up in a couple episodes last season, but she's not a major player. But they definitely put her in a lot of scenes.
Yeah, she's replaced Robot Girl.
Well, I mean, okay.
Remember Robot Girl? Yeah, from last season.
I do remember Robot Girl, but I mean, you know, I don't remember her name.
Yeah, likewise. But she feels like the next. And the other guy, the Asian dude, was he always there?
He's been there. He's been there since season 2.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. All those people in that scene have been there at least since season 1, season 2. So
I know the black guy's been there. I mean, I saw his doppelganger get killed off by Lorca in the first season.
Yeah.
So he's been there since the beginning. Yeah, and obviously the black chick and the female Rutherford. Them two I've seen from
we need to start coming in these reviews with a roster list because we're so bad.
Black guy, black chick, Asian guy, female Rutherford,
blonde chick,
ginger, blonde chick.
But that's what we need though. We need more and the end of this episode was perfect because it focused on them. And it's like they are putting more, I think they're easing us in, but they're putting more and more focus on these side characters that I want. I want an episode where 3 of those people go to a planet and we don't see much of the bridge, like the other bridge, like Michael and Saru and all that. I want to see these other characters get into trouble and they have to figure it out. They have to use their Starfleet knowledge. They don't have Saru with all of his knowledge and Michael Burnham with all of her knowledge, you know, and Stamets with all of his knowledge to get them out. They have to figure it out, you know. And I feel like if we get an episode like that, I feel like that's going to help us get to know these characters.
Regarding female Rutherford, she had another moment, you know, because she's having these little moments where there's something not right with her, and she had a tiny little moment where she. No, I wouldn't say defy, but talk back to Saru saying, look, mate, you sure you want to do this? And then her colleague said, look, just fucking do your job and put the shields up.
That was last episode. Like I did notice that. I don't know if did she have an instance this episode?
It was this episode. It was this episode.
Oh, was it?
It was this episode. It was this episode.
Okay. I must have missed that.
She goes, put the shields up now, and she just about presses the button, and then they get shot by the quantum blast. You know, and and some people are saying it could be the remnants of Legion inside her from last season. Yeah,
I thought about that last episode. But I mean, it didn't start until she hit her head. So
yeah, I know, but fucking hell, I mean, there could be a billion ways they can Star Trek fucking word it.
Well, you're talking about Control, right? Is that what was it called? Legion or Control?
I think it was called Legion, isn't it?
It might be. I don't know. That was last season. I'm kind of. I don't know.
I'm just saying, but there always seems to be a tiny little there's something, don't forget there's something about her. I'm sure her. Well, personally, I think she's going to be dead this season. Actually, she's dead this season. Yeah, I guarantee. And the fact that there's little mini focuses on her, yeah, she's fucking dead. And I don't know when she'll die, but if she survives the season, then well done. You played a good hand.
I think they're gonna. They have future tech that'll be able to purge Control from her system. I mean, keep in mind also Control is 800-year-old tech. I think there'll be an episode focused around it where they're like, oh, we found Control in her system and yada, yada. We have to keep it contained. And then eventually they'll find some kind of future tech that gets it out of her. Or maybe they'll remove all of her cybernetics, maybe medical tech. They'll come across medical tech where they can remove her cybernetic implants and repair everything. And then all of a sudden they can't because Control's in there and they won't let it disconnect from her and yada, yada. And they just have to figure it out by the end of the episode. I hope they don't kill her because she's been there since episode 1 and they don't need to kill her. I
know, but I think it would. I just feel that with this little mini focuses on her and that there's something not quite right.
Yeah.
I could have thought that they're trying to give us, maybe they're setting her up for a death because we're focusing on her a bit. And
I
so,
hope not.
and then we might feel the impact. One more thing before, and I've got nothing more to say about the show, is the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
Why the fuck does it still look the same? You know
No,
what I mean?
it has solar panels on it.
Really?
Yeah, those are solar panels. That was back there. There have been shots of the Golden Gate Bridge and other Star Trek where it has solar panels on it.
I just think that it should have way more bells and whistles on it. And now people might think to themselves, yeah, but why? I mean, why would you keep it traditional? But you would always think it would remain traditional because the changes have been slow over time. Now it's been fucking 1,000 years. You would think there'd be 1,000 years worth of fucking changes, on that thing. And I'm surprised
it's
it still
just
looks
because they don't drive cars anymore. I think they just keep it as a monument. Like it's just that's why the what's it called? That's why the solar panels are across it. But yeah,
okay,
there was. I'm pretty sure the solar panels were there in other Trek. Like I can't remember what. I don't know if it was like Voyager or Deep Space Nine, but it was one of them, and they showed solar panels. I'd have to go back and look.
Actually, I've got a couple of things. We never really got to stay on Earth, which is kind of a shame. We only saw a big fucking tree, and that's about it.
Yeah. Maybe if they start the next
time on Earth.
Yeah, they're probably done because I think Saru was aching to get back into space. So, okay, well that wraps it up. Zam, anything else?
Like I said, just at the very end, it would be nice to see what this new Earth is like, just to experience an Earth without the Federation, or without Starfleet.
I think later on in the season we're going to get an episode with Earth. Like I think we're going to get maybe they have to return to Earth for supplies and they'll have shore leave. And I think maybe that might be later on in the season where we get to see what's going on Earth in general. Like maybe Saru and Michael are going, to talk with the Earth Security Council or whatever it's called. And then, but then you get to see the other crewmates kind of the streets of, San Francisco and how Earth is now. And, maybe have that fish head dude walking around and people are all crazy, xenophobic and everything like that because of everything. And
yeah, but there's always a token Vulcan in every fucking place. I mean, so they're used to. They might have one in Earth.
I hope there's not. I hope it's all human, and I hope that that they all get freaked out and then you can have your moment where it's like then the fish head fish head dude saves people, and
I'm not sure because Earth itself would have had so many different species living on it.
But they've been cut off for 150 years.
Just because Starfleet doesn't mean those fucking people are left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I still think they've been cut off for 150 years from other races. There's going to be people. I mean, there's going to be tons of people. There's probably going to be old guard people who are like, it's just a Fishtonian. I don't even know what race he is. He's a Fishtonian.
Don't call him a Fishtonian. Oh my god! If there's such a species and he happens to look like a fish and they're called a Fishtonian, I'll be really upset with the fucking writers.
I'm throwing it out there. But anyway,
thank you.
All right. Anyway, so that's it.
Fishtonian is brilliant.
I mean, that sounds like more of a lower decks race. Let's be honest.
Yes. Yeah, I can handle that on lower decks.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, we are done. Another grade A episode of Star Trek Discovery. Me and Zam.
Bar's here now. The bar is here, by the way. And they can't lower it now. Unfortunately, I'm looking forward to the next episode. I'm always worried. If we get a stinker fine, it happens. Not every episode of every show is good, but the bar's here now, and I just hope they can maintain that level.
Well, in the preview for next season, it also looks like you saw Saru standing at the table. I couldn't tell if he was doing more diplomatic things or if he was just dining with with just the command crew. But I mean, yeah, I'm liking the direction they're going.
Those people, and I like Michael Burnham shot, by the way. Not holodeck. Damn it! I forgot what ship they're on. But maybe I'm about to say holodeck, but now I've realized it can't be. But maybe you saw a clip of her shooting some people.
Oh, well, that's probably future tech. She probably, just brought it, or it might even just be Discovery tech that I don't know. That they just kind of used. They added in there because
they're Vulcans. They look like Vulcans. Those people she shot in the trailer for episode 4.
then maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. I don't know. So, all right. Well, we will review that next week. So, Zam, where can people find you at?
I'm on Zamario on Twitter. I forgot the name of my YouTube channel, but that's irrelevant right now. But let me quickly look for it. I think it's called Zamir Patwa, ZAMEERPATWA. You can also find me on Nerd Nation if you were looking for the group we're in. That's on Facebook, Discord, as well as YouTube. And look for the symbol, and you'll find Nerd Nation. You'll find us. We're a great little group. We started organically. We're getting close to 200 members just on our Facebook, and that's without even advertising ourselves. We just post shit up with people like and people comment, and it's a nice little community. And you could be part. You could be the first people to be part of something which is definitely growing. That's for sure.
All right. Well, you just took everything that I was going to say. I have a gaming channel called Milk Toast Gaming. Again, we have our Discord where, we're trying to grow our Discord community currently right now. So if you want to get in on the ground up for that one, just go ahead and join us. I do post a lot of previews and stuff like that on there for upcoming projects and stuff. And yeah, that's it. So I guess we'll see you guys on the next one. See you next week. All right. Oh, you know what? Mandalorian later on today.
Mandalorian. This is the way. So Mandalorian. We'll be doing that in a couple of hours, I think.
Yep. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Talk to you later.